Why your dog ignores their own bed. Have you ever looked at your sleeping dog and realized they may be telling you something far deeper than you ever imagined? It's 2 a.m. Your dog has a perfectly comfortable bed somewhere in the house, soft, warm, and made specifically for them. And yet, every single night they ignore it. Instead, they walk straight to your bed. They circle once, maybe twice. Then they press their body against your leg, curl into your side, and somehow manage to occupy most of the mattress while leaving you just enough room to wonder why they keep doing this. Most people think they know the answer. They assume it's about warmth or habit, or that their dog is simply overly attached. That explanation sounds reasonable, but according to behavioral science, the real reason is far more profound. What your dog is doing each night is one of the most meaningful expressions of trust found anywhere in the animal world. It is a behavior shaped by thousands of years of evolution, driven by attachment psychology, reinforced by brain chemistry, and repeated quietly while you sleep. Most dog owners never realize what it truly means, and once you understand it, you'll never see your dog the same way again. Let's begin with the most common theory: warmth. Dogs like warm places. Humans are warm. Mystery solved. Simple, right? Not exactly. Your dog has access to blankets, cushions, rugs, sunny spots, and probably a pile of your clothes on the floor. If heat were the only goal, they have many options. So why do they continue choosing the same place, right next to you, night after night? The answer begins with a simple biological truth. Sleep is the most vulnerable state any animal can experience. When asleep, awareness drops, reaction time slows, defenses are lowered. In nature, this is the moment when an animal is least able to protect itself. For thousands of generations, survival depended on choosing a sleeping place with extraordinary care. Somewhere safe, somewhere protected, somewhere near those they trusted most. Those instincts still exist inside your dog today. Each night, their brain asks one critical question: where am I safest when I cannot protect myself? And then your dog makes a remarkable decision. They walk past every empty corner in the house. They ignore their own bed, and they choose to sleep beside you. That is not random. It is one of the clearest signs of emotional security your dog can show. Scientists have studied this in remarkable detail. Researchers at Eötvös Loránd University in Budapest adapted a famous psychological test originally developed to study attachment between human infants and caregivers. They applied the same principles to dogs and their owners. The findings were extraordinary. Dogs displayed attachment patterns strikingly similar to those seen in young children. They sought closeness. They showed distress when separated. They relaxed when reunited. And they consistently turned to their trusted human when they needed security. In one study, 61% of dogs were classified as securely attached, nearly the same proportion found in human toddlers. Think about what that means. When your dog curls up beside you, they are engaging in one of the most fundamental attachment behaviors known to science. They are seeking proximity to the individual they trust most, their safe place, their source of calm. This is not clinginess. This is emotional certainty. Your dog is communicating something powerful without making a sound. Of all the places in the world where they could sleep, they feel safest with you. And the story becomes even more fascinating because this bond is not only emotional, it is also chemical. Inside your dog's brain and inside yours, a remarkable process is taking place. A biological feedback system that strengthens trust and deepens connection every time you rest together. Scientists call it the oxytocin loop. And what happens next may completely change the way you understand your relationship with your dog. In 2015, researchers at Azabu University in Japan published a landmark study in the journal Science. They examined 30 dog owner pairs and measured levels of oxytocin during normal interaction. Oxytocin is often called the bonding hormone. It is released when people experience trust, affection, and emotional connection. It plays a major role in the relationship between parents and newborn children. The researchers discovered something remarkable. When a dog looks into their owner's eyes and the owner looks back, oxytocin increases in both. The dog's level rises, the human's level rises. That makes the human feel more connected, which encourages more eye contact, which further increases oxytocin. And the cycle continues, a self-reinforcing biological loop of trust and attachment. This phenomenon appears to be uniquely developed between humans and dogs. When researchers repeated the experiment with hand-raised wolves, the same effect did not occur. That means this mechanism evolved over thousands of years of living together. Your dog's desire to remain close to you is supported by biology itself, and physical contact makes the effect even stronger. Studies have shown that spending just 10 minutes petting your dog can reduce cortisol, the body's primary stress hormone, in both the dog and the owner. Now imagine what may happen during an entire night spent sleeping side by side. Hours of quiet breathing, body warmth, familiar scents, repeated signals of safety. The bond deepens while both of you rest. But this relationship did not begin recently. It stretches back to the earliest chapters of human history, long before farms, long before cities, long before written language. More than 15,000 years ago, some wolves began approaching human camps. The boldest and least fearful individuals gained access to food and protection. Over generations, natural selection favored animals that were calm, tolerant, and interested in humans. Eventually, they became the first domestic dogs, and the relationship became much more than practical. In Germany, archaeologists uncovered a burial site dating back roughly 14,000 years. 2 humans were buried alongside 2 dogs. One of those dogs had survived a serious illness that would have required weeks of dedicated care. Someone fed that dog, protected it, stayed with it until it recovered. This was not a disposable animal. This was a cherished companion, a family member. Genetic research has found that domestic dogs carry changes in DNA associated with sociability and human-focused behavior. These differences help explain why dogs naturally seek human contact and feel secure in our presence. So when your dog climbs into bed beside you, they are expressing a behavior shaped over thousands of generations, a behavior rooted in evolution, reinforced by chemistry, and preserved through one of the oldest friendships on Earth. And that brings us to an even more surprising question. What happens to your body when your dog sleeps next to you? Researchers studying sleep found something unexpected. Although dogs may occasionally move and disturb sleep, many owners consistently report feeling calmer, safer, and more comfortable when their dog is nearby. The physical interruptions are real, but the emotional benefits often outweigh them. Why? Because the human nervous system responds powerfully to trusted companionship. A warm, familiar presence can reduce feelings of isolation and increase the sense of safety. And safety is one of the most important conditions for restorative sleep. For most of human history, people rarely slept alone. Families and communities rested together. The isolated bedroom is a relatively recent development. Perhaps your dog is not disrupting your sleep. Perhaps they are restoring something ancient, a biological memory that says, you are protected, you are not alone, you can rest. And in the final part, you'll discover what your dog's sleeping habits may reveal about their health, and why a sudden change should never be ignored. What if your dog isn't just sleeping next to you? What if, all night long, your body and your dog's body are communicating in ways neither of you can see? And what if the moment your dog suddenly stops sleeping beside you is one of the earliest signs that something in their world has changed? This may be the most important part of all. In 2024, researchers at the University of Jyväskylä in Finland studied dog owner pairs and measured heart rate variability, commonly called HRV. HRV is one of the most widely used indicators of how the nervous system is functioning. Higher HRV is generally associated with a more relaxed and well-regulated state. Lower HRV can indicate increased stress. The results were remarkable. Dogs and their owners showed synchronized patterns. When the owner was calm, the dog tended to be calm. When the owner's stress increased, the dog's autonomic state often shifted as well. And the strongest synchronization occurred during rest. When researchers tested dogs with unfamiliar humans, this coordinated pattern did not appear. It was specific to established bonds. That means sleeping beside your dog may be more than emotionally comforting. It may involve 2 nervous systems influencing one another throughout the night. 2 different species, 1 shared sense of safety, 1 quiet biological conversation unfolding while both of you sleep. But there is one more thing you should know. If your dog has slept beside you consistently for months or years, and then suddenly stops, pay close attention. Dogs are creatures of routine. When a deeply ingrained behavior changes unexpectedly, there is usually a reason. Sometimes the cause is environmental. A new pet, a visitor in the home, a different schedule. Even small changes can feel significant to your dog. But sometimes the reason is physical discomfort. Changes in sleeping location can appear early when a dog is experiencing pain. A dog who no longer jumps onto the bed may not be losing interest. They may be finding the movement uncomfortable. In older dogs, altered sleep patterns can also be associated with canine cognitive dysfunction, an age-related condition that affects memory and sleep. This does not mean every change is serious, but it does mean your dog's behavior deserves your attention. Dogs do not explain how they feel with words. Their routines are part of their language, and when that language changes, they may be asking for help. So if your dog suddenly starts sleeping somewhere new, observe them carefully and consult your veterinarian if you notice other unusual signs. Now think about everything you've learned. When you wake up in the middle of the night and feel a warm body pressed gently against your legs, something extraordinary is taking place. Your dog made a deliberate choice. Not the couch, not the floor, not the softest blanket in the house. You. Because thousands of years of evolution shaped dogs to trust humans. Because attachment systems lead them toward the individual who feels safest. Because chemistry and nervous system regulation reinforce that bond. And because, in your dog's world, your presence represents security. Sleeping next to you is one of the clearest ways your dog says, "I trust you completely. You help me feel safe. This is where I belong." And perhaps the most surprising discovery is this: that sense of safety may be helping you too. In a world that often feels fast and disconnected, your dog offers something ancient and deeply reassuring. A steady heartbeat, a familiar breath, a quiet reminder that neither of you is resting alone. If this changed the way you see your dog, subscribe to the channel and share in the comments where your dog sleeps tonight. And if you've ever wondered why your dog looks into your eyes the way they do, the next video explores the science behind that behavior, and the answer is even more fascinating than most people imagine. If this video helped you see your dog in a completely new way, be sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Let me know in the comments where your dog is sleeping tonight. And stay tuned. New episodes are coming very soon, where we'll uncover even more fascinating scientific insights into dog behavior. The next video will be even more surprising, and what you learn may completely change the way you understand your dog.